Hey folks, welcome back to another video on the Living in Halifax channel. I'm Tom Moore, your host. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. This one is kind of for other real estate agents that might watch my channel. We're going to be going over basically how I grew my channel into being one of the largest real estate centric channels for the city of Halifax. Tips, tricks, advice, kind of the story of how it happened. And yeah, so we're going to just give this a whirl and I hope you enjoy. For those of you who are going to watch this that are thinking about buying or selling, however, once again, I'm Tom Moore. I'm a realtor here in Halifax. And as always, we're looking for new clients. So if you are thinking about making a move, then feel free to reach out. My contact should be in the description below. And there should be a couple different options for meetings, whether it's Zoom, email, phone, whatever. We can work through it there. So without further ado, let's get to the video. So before I get into my tips and tricks, let me tell you a little bit about the story. When I got into real estate about 4 years ago, took a bit of a deep dive into social media and decided that YouTube was going to be the route I took. I started doing reading and I got very fortunate that one of my buddies who I grew up with was also getting into videography at the time. We'll see some of my older videos on there that are a little less polished but have really great footage were the help of Logan, who ended up becoming a more full-time videographer, does a whole bunch of stuff on his own now. So that's where it all started. And this was for a few reasons. YouTube is owned by Google, so it works well in search. If somebody's Googling, a neighborhood or something like that, chances are my videos will pop up in Halifax. And rather than Instagram or TikTok or any of those real format videos that are gone in, 48 hours, a lot of them, YouTube, when you post something on there, if it's a good video and it performs well, it'll stay there for as long as it's up, basically. So I still have people clicking on videos that I did 3 years ago, whereas you really wouldn't get that on the Reels. The other side of it was it just provided longer form video content to give to clients, emails, talk to clients. People that come to you via your YouTube channel get a very good feel for who you are as a person. And by the time they reach out to you, they pretty much know you. A lot of the time when I get on Zoom, I get a lot of people that reach out to me and they're like, man, it feels like we've been talking to you for like 2 years, which is really cool. So it's just a great method to get to know people before they know you. Let them know a little bit about who you are. Over time, my cameraman kind of went another route. His prices were increasing with his services. And so I decided to hire somebody to help me on the editing side from overseas, who has been absolutely phenomenal to me, Hannah. Thank you very much. But went that route. And now I do a lot of the filming myself, as you can see, and hand off the editing to her, and she does a great job with it. So we'll go over a couple of little tools that she has that help her out. And yeah, basically now what this channel has evolved into is, I put these videos out once a week, basically for 3 years. Usually I take up 1 week off in the summer, maybe 1 week off in the winter, and that people are able to kind of connect with me there, subscribe there, and get to know me there. Over the years, I've been able to usually get 1 client a month, I would say. And because I've talked to them so much through this media method, it's a really great way to build that relationship without, quite frankly, ever having talked to somebody. So it's worked really well for me. Now, you'll notice that my channel's pretty buyer-centric. When I started the channel, I started off doing a lot of neighborhood tours, things like that by accident, and it actually turned out to be a really great choice. So most of my clients that come to me through this YouTube channel are people from outside of the province and outside of the country. So it's just a really great way to capture a segment of the market that nobody else is really servicing. A lot of realtors obviously have YouTube channels. Not a lot of them do kind of the walking tour formats that I do. So I decided I was just going to do basically neighborhood-centric content and kind of kept getting better at it over time. You talk about a couple different parts of the neighborhood, things that you would want to know if you were moving to a place that you either maybe visited or didn't have too much info on. And, there's a pretty standard system that I stick to with those videos. I, talk about price points, amenities, what the houses are like, and then transportation and kind of what my feel on the general neighborhood is, which if you live in a city, then it's, pretty easy to talk about that stuff just based on your own knowledge of the place. So I built this channel out, and then over time I started adding other things, listing tours, which is really great for clients that are looking to sell their property. Obviously, there's videos up there that if you type in, West End home for sale or something like that, my videos are going to just pop up pretty darn high at the top. Look at this. This is the Blue Nose. The Blue Nose right behind me. It's pretty cool. If you guys ever look at the back of a Canadian dime, that's obviously the boat that's on the back of it. But again, the big thing is it's just about being authentic. The reason why I'm doing this video, a lot of people will be like, wow, you're, sharing how the pie is baked, but I'm unique in the way that I do things. You'll be unique in the way that you do things. And that's what people are drawn to. Not everybody who watches this channel is going to say Tom's the guy for me for buying a house. And that's not the goal of this. It's to show people off the city in the best light. And then hopefully they like me enough to reach out to me and I can help them, make a purchase of a house or something along those lines. So when you're building out a new YouTube channel, particularly if you're in different cities, I think it's important to go after interesting content. So not the talking head stuff. Some people are great at that, but I think something that's really easy for people to do is get out there with your phone, which is what I'm doing right now, and just talk about the things that you know about. And for a lot of people that are from away, where they're going to find the most value is you talking about neighborhoods, doing these neighborhood driving tours. It's funny, two of the videos that people who watch this for years like the most are neighborhood driving tours, where I just drive around and talk about the neighborhood for 20 minutes. It's not very well polished or anything like that. And then the market updates, which are literally PowerPoint and me doing Zoom and talking about what the stats are. So those are the ones that require the least amount of effort on my part, but people like them the most because I think they're authentic and it's just unpolished and it's me talking about whatever I'm going to talk about. So those are some ideas in terms of starting your channel off early. If you're looking for the easy kind of slim pickings fruit, that's a really great way to go. And you're generally going to be creating content that other people aren't. And even if other people are, you're going to do it in your own way. So people might like the way that you do it better than other people. All right, so let's talk about some tips and tricks. One of the best books on this subject is called YouTube for Real Estate Agents by Karen Carr. It dives into a whole bunch of stuff I'm about to dive into in a much more digestible format. The book's like this big, and I think it's like 70 pages, so it's very digestible. It's like $10 online. If you're gonna do something like this, they're definitely worth picking up. So that's a really great starting point. A second point would be getting a tool like Keywords Everywhere. It allows you, once you understand what search engine optimization is and things like that, and read that book, it'll allow you to choose kind of what terms or search things people are searching up that don't have a lot of competition, so that you can try to make content based around that stuff. Pretty simple premise, but this is a really great tool to use, Keywords Everywhere. Third thing is going to be something that Hannah really is great at, which is use some tourism resources that are in your town, your area. Discover Halifax is a site that we use for a lot of the B-roll on here of drone shots, pictures, things like that. And it's through this platform called CrowdRift. Again, most cities are going to have a tourism bureau that has assets like this to kind of help promote the town. Sorry, my shoulder's getting a little sore here. But, use some free resources. And then what I obviously always recommend, if you're not looking at taking the route of learning how to code yourself, is get a virtual assistant like I did with Hannah. I've got this great site that I use to access people who already kind of come trained, and then you work with them to figure out exactly what everybody's going to be different in terms of how they want things portrayed. But, getting a VA is something that's going to save you a lot of time. And quite frankly, it's a good payoff in the long run in terms of freeing up your time so that you can work. So those are kind of the four main tips, I would say. And then obviously what I talked about previously, which is just talking about stuff so that you can do it a bit more authentically. You're not doing a whole ton of scripting on stuff. You may have certain points you're going to talk about, maybe just ramble on. But I think talking about things that you know about, whether it's their stories, conversations, or just living in an area, that's the best way to grow a base, grow a channel. Some of you may have noticed that over the last year, I did switch brokerages, and I'm going to be doing a little update video on that in the coming weeks. But if you're an agent, you're thinking about either jumping into real estate, or you are in real estate and you're looking for some processes, tips and help on how to build a YouTube channel, virtual assistant help, things like that, then that's what I'll be covering in that video. So be sure to subscribe, follow along, I'll go over that detail. And if you do have questions on building a YouTube channel, I'm always happy to chat with folks, whether you send me an email or reach out, whatever it may be, I'd be happy to help. But other than that, once again, I am Tom Moore. I work with EXP here in Halifax, and have a great day. We'll see you in the next video.